another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Man, I really missed you guys. It's been a crazy few days at the office here. I'm really sorry. I was supposed to shoot a video yesterday, but then I looked at my watch and it was 6:30 and I just couldn't do it. I really wanted to get home. So here I am today. Anyway, today I want to talk about something interesting. Now that I'm a watch dealer, I notice trends. Obviously, I have to buy low, I have to sell high. That's the name of the game. But I've noticed a bunch of watches creeping up in price point. Watches that I think are going to be future collectibles and that you should buy them sooner rather than later if you do intend on picking one of these up. And I'm going to explain what these watches are and why I think prices are creeping up. Now, before we get started, customary wristwatch check. Today I'm wearing the IWC Vintage Collection Engineer Laureus. What a mouthful. The most special watch in my collection. I've told the story many times. I'm not going to bore you with this time, but this blue dial, man, it makes me wish I was wearing suits every day again. Not really, but kind of. And also, I wanted to point you guys to my website, delraywatch.com, where this time I really have some special stuff. A Panerai 716 Mare Nostrum blue dial with the full kit and caboodle, including the little toy boat. A Rolex solid gold for under $3,800. An Omega Mark 40 in black, as well as, a Gerald Genta bronze by retrograde. Guys, that is one of the coolest high horology watches out there for the money, and I am thousands cheaper than anyone else. And of course, a Tudor Black Bay bronze, brand new in the hot deal section. And that's just a little taste. Go check out delraywatch.com, link in the description below for a bunch of these watches and more. But anyway, guys, let's get right into it. This list is in no particular order, and of course, it's based entirely on my anecdotal evidence of looking at watches. And obviously, I've been wrong previously, so don't invest in watches, but this is kind of what I noticed, and this is what I think are going to be future collectible items. Now, the first one, the Breguet Marine. Not this generation, the one that was just discontinued. Now, these can be picked up anywhere between $6,500 to $7,500 in decent shape, and that's already creeped up quite a bit, because these used to be definitely all of them in the sixes. So why is this creeping up? Because the new Marine that replaced this one is butt ugly. I mean, it's as beautiful as a one-eyed chick with herpes, and no one likes it. It got a very lukewarm reception. So the old one is kind of the classic. Not to mention it falls into that Patek Philippe Nautilus, Vacheron Constantin Overseas, AP Royal Oak. The Breguet Marine is the cheapest one of all the super high-end sports watches and is very, very attainable. Personally, I love it on the rubber strap, and I think if you can snag one for under $75, which is not easy, but it is possible, you should absolutely do it, because this is the one that everybody likes, and the new one being out, and these going to be harder to find, are just going to drive prices up. So Breguet Marine, the old generation, 39mm stainless steel, absolutely gorgeous. The new one, God slapped that thing with an ugly stick. Next on my list, I'm just looking at my computer screen. I've said this a million times. The Rolex Milgauss in white. This has all the parts of the recipe to be a future collectible classic. It's a weird Rolex. Check. It's discontinued. Check. It was unloved when it came out and while it was made. Check. And it's still affordable right now compared to all the other Milgausses, so prices can only go up. Check. Whenever Rolex makes a weird watch, and by weird I mean orange secondhand with a lightning bolt, a white dial sports watch, stuff like that, down the line, sometimes 5 years, sometimes 50 years, it becomes super collectible, because at the time it was unloved, and that means it becomes a lot harder to get in the second-hand market. Now, these were trading under $5,000 all day long previously. Now they've crept up to the low fives to mid fives, and I think they're only going to go up because supply and demand. The supply is not getting any bigger, and I think the demand is going up. I think it's a super charming watch, treads the line between a dressy Rolex and a sports Rolex, and with that super quirky lightning bolt secondhand, it's a watch full of personality. Sure, it won't have a huge audience, But the fact that you can get a modern Rolex sports watch at that price range nowadays, it means it won't be that price range for much longer. So I think that's the one to go with, and the fact that it's discontinued, cherry on the cake. Next is one that is shooting up in value like crazy, and it's one of my favorite watches that I wish I could wear, but I can't, and that is the Omega Mark 40 with the funky dial. This was an unloved Speedmaster reduced at 39 millimeters with the triple date chronograph with some weird colors on the dial that was originally kind of made famous by Ben Clymer when the book was released, A Man and His Watch. Ben said this was the watch that got him into watches. Ben Clymer is the founder of Hodinkee, so that made the prices shoot up a little bit. So they were like $1,200-1,300 before, then they were like $2,400 to $2,700, and now of course Omega made a re-edition of this watch for Hodinkee, which is a reinterpretation, and that was also not super well received, but you know, I don't think it's terrible, still too early to tell. But that made these watches shoot up to the high threes. So from 12 to 13 to 24 to 27 to, you know, 3 to 4 to 5 even. These watches are super hard to get. They're sold out all over eBay. Prices are going absolutely bananas, all because of the Hodinkee factor. Now, is this going to hold up? I don't know. All I know is I sold a crap ton of them at DelReyWatch.com. I always thought they were very underrated. And, you know, I imported quite a few of them. However, nowadays, I think that's pretty much done. They can't be had at reasonable prices. But that means the other Mark 40s, you know, in full disclosure, I do have another one in stock. I feel like I should kind of disclose that to you guys. The other ones are still priced decently, even though those are creeping up as well. But yeah, the Hodinkee factor on the Mark 40 skyrocket on that watch. And I think it's got a lot to do with the unique colors as well. And of course, Hodinkee is a huge platform, so a lot of people kind of were made aware of it. And they thought, well, that's still reasonably priced, and a bunch of people picked it up. So yeah, that one kind of skyrocketed. Yeah, this one. And this I didn't know was a thing until I was kind of looking them up last night in bed around 2 a.m. on eBay. And that is the Jaeger LeCoultre Reverso Classique. Now, not the current Classiques, but the ones that they kind of stopped making in 2007, 2008. They had the old Grand Tie K-shape, and they all came on brown leather straps. These, which were very hard to sell back in the day when I worked retail, even though they were the icon of JLC, they never sold particularly well. Well, since the tribute to 1931 came out and the new Reverso tributes came out, they changed the dial up a little bit, and the look is just different. And I think the fact that they didn't sell so well means there weren't that many out there, and that the new Reverso, once again, I think was received very well, but it just looked different. People are finally picking up, you know, the people that preferred the old ones are finally picking them up. Supply is drying out. Now, I'm not saying it's a super rare watch or rare watches, because they made a few of them, because it isn't. I can tell you prices are slowly creeping up. You know, the days of the $3,500 to $4,500 Reverso are long gone. Now you're probably looking at $45,000 plus for the base ones, and the ones with the moon phases and stuff, $8,000-9,000. Certainly going up in price. And I don't know, it's kind of sad, because I don't know if I love it enough to spend almost 10 grand on one, but I really did want to pick one up recently, and that's kind of why I was shopping around last night. But it's looking like it's going to be difficult. And then last, and this is one everybody's seen, and even I noticed since I got into this business selling pre-owned watches, that is the Rolex Explorer 2, the 40 millimeter with the white dial, even with the black dial. I remember this was the first watch I ever sold at DelReyWatch.com, and I sold it for $39.99. Now, good luck trying to find one for that price as a dealer. I'm buying them for way more than that. These are going in the mid-5s all day for a good example, even in the high 4s for one that's slightly more beat up. What can I say? The new Explorer 2, 42 millimeters. There's a trend in this video. Watches that aren't very well received, people kind of go and get the old versions. The 42 is rather big. The second hand is a little bit different. And the Explorer 2, which is always the value prop in the Rolex lineup, is not looking like a value prop anymore. I mean, well, I guess it is if you compare it to a sub, because those prices have skyrocketed too. But I don't know, man. Is $4,500 to $5,500 a value prop? I'm not so sure it's worth the money. I think it's really overpriced. However, I'm not the market. I'm just a dude behind the camera with an opinion. And the market has spoken. Those are shooting up in value. Once again, no longer being made. Classic Rolex look. It's got the Rolex name on the dial, which means it's a pretty safe bet. And yeah, those are definitely shooting up. In less than a year, I've noticed well over $1,000 price increase in those, which is kind of nuts. Anyway, guys, that's my opinion. 5 watches that I think are future collectibles that you're most likely, if you do want these, you should buy them sooner rather than later, because I only see the prices going up. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. And also, if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more content. And actually, guys, short little announcement on a project I'm working on with my buddy John. You're going to want to tune in for that. I'll probably mention it in the next couple of episodes. Some pretty cool stuff. Anyway, thank you so much for sticking around for another episode of Federico Talks Watches, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.